Look at the cheeks. Aww.
I've had a couple glasses of wine.
I know, yeah.
Okay. Is it recording?
Yeah. Cheers. I'm so excited. Okay.
Yep.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome, Lily. We've been best friends since 6th grade.
Yep.
2005.
Yeah, starting 2005, yeah.
2005 woodshop class. You literally made me get an A in that class because Lily made all of my projects because I'm the least handy, crafty, creative person on the planet.
I still have those art projects.
My mom still, so you made the
woodpecker.
Woodpecker. It's still on my mom's back deck.
Oh my gosh.
So thank you. So anyways, we go way back.
Yep.
And Lily recently had the most beautiful baby boy on the whole planet.
Gosh.
And so what's so exciting about this video, as you can see by the title, this is going to be me telling you my assumptions about pregnancy, like labor, delivery, and then like postpartum breastfeeding, because you are breastfeeding. So I know nothing about literally anything to do with pregnancy or...
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm the first girl out of like our group to have a baby. Pregnancy, like things that you learn, you're not gonna know going in until your OB is like telling you things and telling you information at that time, and then you start to do your own research.
Totally.
But everyone was like, how'd you find all this stuff out? I'm like, I got pregnant.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what the title of the video is gonna be, and I'm like, oh my god, everyone's gonna think I'm pregnant. So I'm not pregnant, just putting it out there. But my first assumption. Okay. You felt pressure to make a lot of choices that society has deemed acceptable when pregnant, whatever that may be. Like, I just feel like there's so much that people say you need to do when you're pregnant. You don't, you shouldn't do when you're pregnant.
Like, Instagram's a really toxic place when you're pregnant. Like, I didn't want to be on like my Explore page reading about people and what they were going through when they were pregnant. I didn't Google once when I was pregnant.
You didn't?
I did not Google like a single, like, I felt this, what does that mean? I found out I was pregnant like literally at 4 weeks, so I had like no time wasted, I guess, like from the beginning. I was experiencing like some spotting.
So you found out you were pregnant?
So after I had found out I was pregnant, I hadn't even gone to my OB to confirm the pregnancy. And even actually happened after I confirmed the pregnancy. I had some spotting, and I had some spotting like after intercourse, like that first couple weeks. And of course, like I went to Google and I was like, no, it's gonna tell me I'm having a miscarriage. Ever since that, I was like, I'm not Googling ever. And so I would call my doctor. Like, if you have questions about your pregnancy, like,
call your doctor.
Call your doctor. They're the ones who are gonna tell you like the information you need to know, because they also know you, they know your pregnancy, they know like what's going on. And if they have questions, they'll have you come in.
Totally.
So
And that's like, so true, they know you. They're not answering a generic like,
because you might have some pre-existing something that could lead to you experiencing something differently than what's, you know, of course, Google or is telling you or Instagram is telling you. I didn't have as much expectations for myself during pregnancy because I like refused to find like outlets elsewhere. Like, I only let myself
such a good like
trust what I was feeling. Like, don't go to Instagram.
Oh my
for
god.
pregnancy.
All I do is Google everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would have just like not even thought twice of when I'm pregnant. No, if something's going on, I'm gonna Google and see what I find out there. But that's
like, call your doctor, like call the nurse. Like, if you call your OB, hey, I'm experiencing some spotting, and they're like, okay, yeah, no problem, you can come in. And then I went in, and then I told them like why or when I was experiencing that spotting.
I didn't even know that you did that.
I would just say like,
talk to your doctor.
Talk to your doctor, and don't trust everything you read on Instagram.
Totally, and that's probably a second piece of advice. Make sure that you have a good doctor.
Yes, you're not gonna get your doctor every time that you have an appointment just because of scheduling. Be flexible, but also find like somewhere where you like the vibe of everything.
Oh, and don't get stuck on just liking the one doctor.
Yes, because you're not gonna always have that one doctor. So like, I loved my women's health office. It was only a women's health office.
We love
like,
that.
It was just only, the entire place was just ladies, and it was only about boobs and vaginas. So it was really easy like to feel comfortable, like regardless of who I was meeting that day.
You're just spitting truth out here.
Yeah.
Okay. So next one is that sleep is impossible. Like, how is sleep for you? Because I'm nervous about that.
Okay. I'm sorry, I really am like
an anomaly.
An anomaly, I really am. I slept so good throughout my pregnancy.
The whole
time?
was
I comfortable? No. That doesn't really make any sense. I was exhausted my first trimester. I was so tired. Like, I slept like 12 hours a night. I was so tired. So that's also just like a kind of a symptom of becoming pregnant. When you start getting bigger, you're uncomfortable and like you also can't like sleep on your back. You can't sleep on your stomach, obviously, because your stomach is growing. There's recommendations like to sleep more on your left side because of where the baby sits, like the weight. It has something to do, like the blood flows better if the weight of them is on your left side.
And can that also affect, like, get you a better night's sleep?
Supposedly.
Oh, okay.
I slept so good towards the end, so I think that's why I went into like a really clear, I started to go into a clear mind into my labor and delivery, just because I had so much sleep built up. That's not the truth for everyone.
Like, I slept great. I slept better pregnant.
Like, I went into my doctor and she was like, oh, you're probably already so exhausted. And I was like, oh, I'm feeling well rested. Like, I got some great sleep last night.
Okay, so you slept.
I slept pretty good. I actually miss my pregnancy sleep.
Oh my god. Next one, I have a few Jonathan assumptions sprinkled in here. You have crazy cravings, a ravaging appetite, and also things really repulse you.
Yeah.
Any of that?
Oh my god, yeah, I had all three. I was always craving burgers.
You did eat burgers.
Yeah, like anything greasy, like, I don't know.
Throughout the whole pregnancy?
Yeah, like from square one. Like I definitely wanted like just really greasy things, and also like sweets. Like you have such a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
I joke and call a Kane Chunky Monkey because I ate so much Chunky Monkey Ben & Jerry's ice cream with him. Like the banana. I was repulsed by like onion rings. Really?
And you have a weird thing with chicken. Did I just make that up?
Yeah. Oh, I hated chicken.
Yeah.
It was like wet to me. I never really could handle an empty stomach.
Yeah.
I think it literally was just because you're nourishing another life, so
totally.
My stomach just like couldn't be at empty.
Okay, the next one we've kind of touched on a little bit. It's hard to balance advice, medical advice, advice online, and like resources. 'Cause even now, I'm again not pregnant, but I see so much on, like you said, Instagram, Google, but also like family and friends advice. So was it hard to balance that?
It's not only hard to receive, it's hard to respectively like take it. A lot of advice I would receive, like I think I would just tune out. Like my mind, like I would be standing there like taking the advice, but my mind would go elsewhere. And that's not to be rude.
No.
It was just to be like, you know, I'm taking your advice, I understand what you're saying, but every pregnancy is different. Every single mom is carrying a different child. Like you can give advice that you might think truly like is helping them, but at the same time like it's just stressing them out. If you're offering advice, offer just positive, like
or just
so
don't give
for
advice
you.
Until someone asks.
Exactly. Yeah. Tell them you're happy for them.
Yeah, and move on.
Yeah.
Rub the belly and walk away.
And walk away.
Next one, I am gonna offer a trigger warning. I am gonna mention miscarriages. We also touched on it a little bit, but statistically 1 in 4 women do experience a miscarriage. How did you deal with fear of miscarrying? Did you fear miscarrying? Also, whatever you're comfy talking about.
I mean, it was definitely on my mind. We chose to tell family when we wanted to tell them. Like, I was only 5 weeks pregnant when I told my mom and my dad. And I told them on Christmas Eve. Mainly, I told them that early because it was Christmas Eve, and I was like, I can't go through Christmas and not tell my parents I'm pregnant. So that was definitely early in the game. Like, I haven't even been to the OB yet. We told John's parents, like, the same week we told you guys, so like 7, 8 weeks or whatever. And I remember telling a couple family members, and a couple of them were like, oh, well, like, you're still early, like, be careful. And you're kind of like, I remember reading a post when I was my first week of my first trimester, so like obviously like a very just unwavering time, and it was saying like, just because you're at an early stage of your pregnancy, like, doesn't mean that you can't still like celebrate that life. I was like, if you lost that life, you should still celebrate it, and you should still cherish and remember it with those who love you and want to be with you.
Totally.
So that's why I was like, oh, I love that.
When did that become such a thing that you have to wait until the 2nd trimester? I get to announce it to the world, because then you have to eventually explain the story to people that maybe you don't want to if something ends up happening, God forbid. Like, your close people, why did it have, I don't know, that's a long time, because you usually find out at like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, so
you
that's
gotta wait
waiting like
7
months.
Yeah.
We knew from an early start that like we just couldn't keep it a secret. So we were like, you know what, let's tell people that like are closest to us, the ones we love the most, the ones that we would share that information with, God forbid, and like this is just what we want to do.
Totally.
But yeah, it is a nerve-wracking time.
Yeah. Okay, last one for pregnancy. Sex is really difficult and you don't feel sexy. Because for me, I think of when I feel really full after a meal.
No, I like am so like lethargic.
And I'm not in the mood. Like, and for me, when I think of pregnancy, I'm like, wait, am I just gonna feel full and not sexy all the time? So that's my assumption of pregnancy, that I'm not gonna like, will you have a sex drive when you're pregnant? Yes.
And like feel sexy?
Yeah.
Ebb and flows. First trimester, like you just don't like feel your best. You're tired, like you're kind of like, yeah, I'm not really in the mood, you know, like it's just kind of like I'm so tired, like I just can't even be bothered right now. Like I just like when you start getting bigger, like you do feel sexy. I felt sexy. When you're bigger, like it feels so much different than when you're like full from a meal. So no, the sex drive is definitely there in the 3rd trimester. Okay. I like 2nd, 3rd trimester, yeah, sex drive is definitely there.
Is it more sensitive?
Yes.
I've heard that.
Yes, it is more sensitive. We had sex the night before we had Kane.
I know.
And I'm convinced that's why my water broke.
Yes.
Your breasts change, your stomach changes, like your whole body's changing, and you feel sexy because your body's changing. Like you feel sexy, you're growing this life inside of you. Yeah. And your husband or your partner, whomever, is also like seeing that you feel confident, that you feel sexy. You also have that glow. How quickly you're changing, like it adds a little spice in your sex routine.
And here, my notes make me laugh. I don't know why. The lighting.
The only person that lives off their note app is corny.
I don't even think you understand how bad it is. Okay, so I literally wrote in here that I know your delivery story already.
Yes.
But I will tell you some of my assumptions. And one thing that I don't know if I knew is that you had a birth plan. Like, did you have, because you hear everybody say like, have a birth plan, know what you want. So did you have a birth plan?
No. You can't plan for the birth of your child. I think you should plan certain aspects, like, do you want to be medicated? Do you want to be unmedicated? And again, your plan can change. You can have those plans.
Yeah, like your hard yes is hard.
Your hard yes is your hard no. Like, I want a delayed cord clamp for the umbilical cord. Like,
pause.
Yeah, we'll go into We had birthing classes like online through our hospital. Like, we talked to my doctor. So there's a lot of questions that will arise, but I highly recommend going into your labor and delivery like not having a plan, because if that plan doesn't follow through, you're gotta be disappointed. At the end of the day, it's just about getting your baby.
100%. And at that point, that's all you care about.
That's all you care about. As long as you don't have that like, this is my plan, this is what's happening. Because there's so many things.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize like how many things can change in that time.
Yep.
Until you're like you're in it.
I apologize for the change in, we're just basically a cinematic film where we're changing angles. Next up, labor assumptions. So my assumption is that you knew when you were in labor, like in your gut you knew.
No.
No.
Well, I went into labor, my water broke at 4 a.m. Like, it woke me up out of sleep.
Okay.
So going into that night time, like going to bed that night, I had no idea. Like, I delivered Kane 2 weeks early. I was 38 weeks, like to the day.
Okay.
So when I woke up to my water breaking, I thought I peed the bed.
Which is, by the way, also very rare for women to actually like their water to break. 10
to 15% of women experience a water break and then are in labor. A lot of women don't experience that at all, but I did. Like, my water broke at 4:30 a.m. and then I thought I peed the bed, and then I went to the restroom and I had to go to the bathroom. So I was like, well, clearly I didn't pee the bed if I just peed. Yeah. It's your amniotic fluid, so it's just like water coming out. And so I stood there for a while. I eventually woke up my husband and I was like, I think I'm in labor.
Oh my God.
Like, I think my water just broke. You have a mucus plug, so it's like a plug. I don't know exactly where it sits, but
somewhere
it's
in there.
Somewhere within your cervix, just to kind of like close off any infection or airway or any entry into your uterus, into your child.
Interesting. And so is that beyond, like, when your water breaks, is that like supposed to be like above the water breakage?
At first I thought that like, oh, maybe my like mucus plug came out, but I found out after the fact that like it's not water textured, it's more of a discharge texture. So when I talked to my OB and I called that morning, I was like, I think my water just broke. Did my water break, or could I have like lost my mucus plug? And she was like, oh no, like it's different. Of course, I'm like, I'm gonna labor at home for a while. When your water breaks, that has now like basically opened up the environment of your child. Like, it could lead to any type of infection. So they want you to come into the hospital at that point. I still labored at home for a couple. I like took a nap. I was like, oh, I'll be there soon. I'll be there by 9. I went in. The doctor was like, wow, you're already 5 centimeters. Like, your water definitely broke. You're 5 centimeters dilated. I can see the baby has hair, and I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy. When they tell you that and the baby's inside you and they're like, oh, I can see the baby has hair, you're like, What?
It must be so motivating too. At the
Oh
same
yeah,
time.
it's crazy. It's so surreal. Like the fact that they can see your child. So whatever, they admitted me. They had like a tub in there, so I could labor in a tub.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah,
You can have
that's
a tub option.
something that I've added to my like list of things
it's
to look
just
for
nice.
is a tub.
You're sweating, you're stressed. Like to take a warm bath, like for me, that's relaxing.
Totally.
So like some people like might not, that's not their vibe, but like
it's comforting.
it's a change of scenery too. You're kind of like, all right, I'm not in the bed, I'm in the tub. I spent like 2 hours in the tub.
Yeah. I already know the story and I'm like, wait, tell me again.
I'm like, wait, do you have another specific question
I
for
like
me?
keep forgetting we're recording. But yeah, we got caught up in labor. So you felt a lot of fear in labor, like not just fear of pain, but just fear and also excitement, obviously. But like, I feel like everyone just has fear in labor.
Yeah, you have no idea what to expect. Again, that's why I like the whole like birth plan. Like you have no idea how long it's gonna take for them to be born. I was terrified. I think you've never experienced that level of pain in your life. I was shaking. You throw up. I completely like I went into my own head. Like I couldn't talk anymore because your mind cannot focus on anything else other than what's happening. I can't remember that pain anymore. Like I can't even like describe it.
And like you would have another baby. You want to have a baby.
I think that biologically our bodies are so smart. They don't want you to remember that pain because they want you to have more children. The second your child is out of you, all pain is gone. My son went into the NICU right after he was born, and we can talk about that after, but after they were taking care of him, I just remember being like, I did that. Like I just freaking had a baby. Yeah. You were on the biggest high. Like you were literally like of course, like my mind is also elsewhere. Like, my child is, I don't know what's going on with my child just yet, but still I had that moment. I was like, of course, I just freaking did that. Yeah. Doing it unmedicated, the one reward I think it can give. My son went into the NICU and I was able to walk to see him. They did physically wheel me because I didn't know where I was going, but I was able to get up and hold him, and like, because with an epidural you are under more observation. They make sure that you're urinating like more frequently after delivery because you're on a catheter when you have an epidural.
Which I recently discovered that you're on a catheter with an epidural.
For me, they just want to make sure I could urinate once. They were like, oh, you went to the bathroom? Great.
You're able
you
to
can go in the NICU. With delivery, you need to let your body somehow like be relaxed. Your contractions are muscles, and that's how they are contracting to push out your child. And your cervix should not be tight. It's like an elastic.
And under stress.
Under stress, exactly.
Did you do any breath work, or did you just know what you needed to do?
No, I was meditating, like leading, like once I hit my 3rd trimester, I was like, all right, this baby is gonna be here in the next 10 weeks. Like, I mean, I was doing yoga, I was doing breath work, I was meditating. Like, I just like going to bed, like 10 minutes before bed, like deep breathing, like trying to isolate yourself. Breath got me through everything. You don't realize like how much you can do like with your body through the power of breath until you're going through something like that. Your body's incredible, and like we're meant to do this. Like our bodies are meant to do this.
100%.
So like if you can trust in that, and if you can like just focus, like my mantra of my delivery, like I kept telling myself like the only way out of this is through this. Like the only way out of this pain is through it. Like
there's no other option.
I have to like get through this. My child has to be born through me for me to be out of this.
So Jonathan said it's extremely hectic and chaotic. This is about labor, and he says you don't want to hear from us at all. He was saying,
your partner. You don't want to hear from your husband or partner.
Yes. You don't want to hear from us. We just need to like rub you and not speak.
That's actually really good. Like, it's definitely chaotic and hectic around like your nurses, and when you're in your early labor, like husband, rub me, partner, rub me down, tell me I'm doing the best ever. I'm strong, I'm the shit, I'm about to give you your child. Like the nurses are like looking at you less. They're like, oh, you're so good, okay, see you soon.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like obviously when you're progressing, it becomes more and more hectic. When your baby is being born, I just remember like opening my eyes. I mean, when you're pushing, you're more aware because you can actually like use your contraction. There was probably like 10 people. Main Med's a teaching hospital, so I had residents. I was living Grey's Anatomy life. Like I was like, I have residents. I was like, yo, what's good? John could tell you more. I don't really remember like every moment. And then when the NICU team came in, like there's like 20 people in the room. The beginning, I loved having John with me. He helped me a lot. Like I was leaning on him a lot. Like I was using him like to like literally like put my fingernails through. But when I hit like 8 centimeters, like he offered me water at one point, and I've never looked at him in such disgust.
Yeah.
I love you. I know you just meant to offer me a sip of water, but don't do that again.
Yeah.
You're in, like, I was in such a trance. Like,
Totally.
every breath was getting me through that next minute.
Yep.
Again, if you're medicated, it might be a completely different experience for you.
Yep.
Like, I could not have him interrupting me.
Yeah.
And he meant well,
Yep.
but do not interrupt me. And partner, Jonathan, anyone will see that change in you.
And they'll like understand.
Oh my god.
Okay, and at least Jonathan knows what to
it's totally
expect.
fine.
We just talked about how you went unmedicated. I feel like a lot of people that choose to go unmedicated, not like judge people that get an epidural, but it almost feels like people are afraid to like say they want an epidural. I assume people that go unmedicated feel like they're stronger, or like they went through something harder than people that get epidural. So I'm interested to hear your take on that.
I think that's such a good, I like love that you brought that up, because I think that any way that you went through labor, delivery, and got your child, regardless if that's unmedicated, through an epidural, or via C-section, like, you just birthed a child. By no means do I think that I'm above or like I'm on a high horse compared to those who had an epidural because I did unmedicated. I just knew that I could do it unmedicated.
Yep.
And that was the only reason why I did it.
What went into you deciding to go unmedicated fully?
I know I have a high pain tolerance, and I think I found that out one time when I got a filling without, I went to the dentist, I got a filling without Novocaine, and the dentist was like, "You're tapped." So
did you choose to not get Novocaine?
Yeah, because I couldn't afford it. My pregnancy was like I had a very healthy pregnancy, and I feel like that was such a blessing. Like, I had such a good pregnancy, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this unmedicated. Like, I know I can do this. I have a high pain tolerance. I did get a little bit of some Nubane, which is like a half glass she
of
was
wine.
like, do you want like a glass of wine, like in your IV? And I was like, I would love a glass of wine right now. So it just like took the edge off for like an hour. I think like my mother has had an unmedicated and epidural birth. Like, my next one, I might have an epidural. Like, I see nothing wrong with epidural. I don't like how my body reacts to drugs.
You're someone that doesn't like to be out of control. Like,
yeah,
you've never been like
that's
that.
exactly the
so
way to
that would
explain
have
it.
stressed you out more.
I wanted to feel my body versus unfeel.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, from what I've read up on epidurals, like, they are a lot better now than they were when our mothers had us.
There's
like,
way less
they
risk
don't
of,
completely essentially paralyze you. Like, they can like lower your dose regardless of how your child was born. It's so special. You had your baby. Like, it's just like your body was able to build a baby, and then it got you to this point of delivery. Regardless of how your child was born, it's so special. And I think you should just cherish that moment.
Jonathan just came out. So Jonathan's delivery assumption is that once the head is out, it's all good from there.
With Kane, yes. Kane's head, well, again, let's talk to John, because I didn't see it, but when John has explained to me, when Kane's head came out, like, he was out.
Okay.
So, like, the next contraction after his head came out, like, his entire body was out.
Physically, because if you are not breech and the head is down, that once the shoulders get out, you'd think that would be like the widest part. It would kind of flop over.
Kane was ready to party.
But Jonathan's
Kane
like,
was.
no.
Well, also, the kid's got a big head, so like once his head came out, like it was game over. Like, your shoulders can be stuck, and the doctor will help you figure that out. But like, once the head is out,
you're pretty good.
Yeah,
good job, Jonathan. Your assumption was right.
It did take an hour to get his head out.
But before we go to postpartum and breastfeeding, I guess just like Kane's story was obviously unique, and I think it's interesting that, like you noted, you had a pretty seamless pregnancy, a pretty seamless like labor, and then obviously I think going back to when I asked you about like your birth plan, you obviously had a unique birth story with Kane. Did not having a birth plan help you with that? Maybe
someone can have the easiest pregnancy in the world and go through complications. Like, I never expected to deliver my son. They put him on me. I had him on my chest for like 30 seconds and he was gone for like 5 hours. Like, I was just like he wasn't breathing on his own, so they needed to like check out his lungs. They ended up like pulling out like a bunch of mucus from his lungs, and my husband was with him the entire time, so like I was like by myself for like those like 3 hours post-delivery, which is nothing that you expect. Like, you know, you immediately expect to have your baby on your chest, like you're breastfeeding within the hour, and then, you know, you're moved up to your room. Like, so I never expected that. And I think it's just like, it humbles you in this weird way. Like, it really makes you realize, like, someone that you're seeing on Instagram, someone that you're seeing like through a friend, like through like anyone, like, oh my god, I had this perfect pregnancy. Courtney, you could have a pregnancy in the future that has like so many complications, but like your baby will be born and you'll have them on your chest immediately, and there'll be nothing will be wrong.
Everyone's story.
And that is the prayer. Like, you want every baby to be born and have no issues, and like you're happy, and like you brought Jonathan's at your side, and then you go up to your room. Like, I never expected Kane to be in the NICU. He was in the NICU for 3 days. That was it was so hard for John and I, but at the same time, like, you know, it humbles you. Like, we had, again, like, that would have been a breeze. Like, my pregnancy is A+.
If he was
like,
just out and,
you know,
like,
out just like that, like, no. Like, you know, we gotta, like,
God was like,
God's like, hold up. That pregnancy was too easy. Like, you gotta, like, have a little something before you become a parent. Just, again, like, you can't have a plan. You have no idea what to expect. Just be as relaxed and try to be as stress-free as possible. Because every baby is different as well. You have to remember that with delivering a child. Like, it's not just you who's a part of this situation. It's also your child. They're coming out in this world and they're gonna be like, not yet.
And
like,
it's so beyond your control.
It's beyond your control. Like, it's two people in this situation. Like, it's not just you. So you have to really also like factor in your baby. Like, they have their own plan too.
Baby Kane is perfect. We're trying to wrap this up so we can go snuggle him. So last up are my assumptions around postpartum and breastfeeding, and I'm really excited because, again, I know a good amount of what goes on in your worlds, but I don't know the day-to-day. First one, you feel like a slave in your body because as much as it's beautiful, you're a complete source of life for your child, your body isn't really yours right now. So, no, that's true. Breastfeeding is something else. It feels so different compared to pregnancy. Like, pregnancy, you know, your body is, you're creating a life. Like, obviously your body is not just your own. My child eats on demand, so he eats when he wants to eat. And I feel so blessed that I'm able to be home for 4 months. Like, my maternity leave is 16 weeks, so I feel like we really have had the chance to like establish that connection through breastfeeding. But yeah, your body is not your own. And I feel like there's definitely been times while I've been feeding him that like I've had John, my husband, like have to take him from me. Like, I feel like I can't catch my breath right now. It's also when you're breastfeeding, your body's releasing so many hormones. Really? When my son latches on, I can feel my milk release, and it's like a whole wave of like emotions. Really? And hormones. Like, it's so weird. Like, it's so fascinating because you're kind of like, whoa. Like, it's so active in the moment. Like, you're very aware of like what's happening to you. Do you notice that every time? Not every time. I notice it mainly when he's latching or when I'm pumping, like this release, and it's like a release of hormones. Sometimes I'm either like, whoa, I could cry, just because it's like such a wave of hormones, or my son's on me and I'm like, you need to let go right now. So sometimes like I just need like a breath. I'm like, give me like 2 minutes, like, and my son's gonna be fine, like he's gonna be okay, of course. And so I'm like, take him, like I need 2 minutes, like, and then I'm back, like I'm good. I have felt more through breastfeeding than my body is in my own than I did in pregnancy. It's beautiful, like it's beautiful. Like, watching him chunk up and like watching him grow, I'm like, that is all me. Like, he has gained like almost double his birth weight in 3 months because of breast milk. Like, and breast milk is so amazing and so fascinating. But it definitely is like a whole nother like, and it's transition. Okay to need a mommy minute while you're doing it. Sometimes like it's a bottle a day, and luckily like a lot of babies, some babies don't latch onto a bottle. Good thing Kane does, so we can drink our wine today. Yes. Literally, as my glass is empty, I am so blessed that he can have a bottle, mainly because like when I go back to work, like he can eat via a bottle. Breastfeeding is so specific to like mom. Obviously, like I'm the source of his food, but to have like it be able to be in a bottle for my husband to feed him, like it's so cute. Like he just loves to have that moment with him. You definitely want to introduce a bottle before you go back to work, because it is different than a nipple. Like, so they're going from like not seeing mommy as much as usual to also not getting the nipple. Exactly. So it's good to like do that. I have 3 more. Well, technically only really 2 more. One, I put like, you don't sleep. Sleep is just gonna be challenging for the point of like pregnancy to a year in, I don't even know. Also, you just can't stop staring at them. Yeah, of course, it's like you're like the adrenaline of it all. You're getting to know them. Like you're getting to know your child. You're excited. Like, I stared at him, I think for 5 days straight, I didn't sleep. I'm just like, I'm learning so much about him. I feel like I knew nothing of him until he was born. So your relationship with your partner changes.
Yes.
And I don't know like what that means for you or what your experience was. You just created a human being, like it changes.
I feel like it's both. Like, one, I feel like John and I have never been closer because we both get how obsessed we are with him.
Yeah.
Like only both of us know like how much we love him. Yeah. We experienced together, like we both went through that labor and delivery together. Like even if it was
no one else was
physically doing that, like John had unfortunately, like witnessing your partner go through like the worst pain of their life, like is so hard on them mentally. You have like labor and delivery trauma. There was definitely like a couple weeks where like you really are like I cried like for like a week after I had him, not because I was like so happy to have him, but I'm like, I can't believe I did that. Like happy tears, like like excited, like almost just like relief tears, like I made it through. Yeah. And he had the same amount of tears of like, I can't believe you did that. Like I'm so thankful for you. You gave me my son. Like, you know, like it's such a different type of like weight that they carry. We're so close now in different ways than we were before. You know, my husband's envious of me. Yeah. Like I got to experience something. I get to feed our child in ways that he doesn't. Yeah. Like, and he wishes he could. Yeah. Like, right?
Right. It's just not the job that he was born to do.
No, it's not the job.
Do other things through this baby's life.
Exactly. Like he is gonna be a father in ways that like I can't be a mother. You know what I mean? Like, but it's weird. Like watching him like sleep more soundly sometime in the beginning, and it's like I'm like, I could hit you so hard right now. Like you carry the weight differently. The ways I see my child look at him differently than he looks at me, like it's so special. Like so you get so close. It's a whole nother chapter. Like it's a whole nother new thing.
So it does change.
Like as long, like honestly, like watch your advice YouTube about like how to keep a relationship alive, because if you can do those things like communication and just like everything that like keeps a relationship strong, it will keep your relationship strong like once you have a child. Yeah. Do not be afraid to address, even more importantly, from the start of a problem. Like don't let anything fester, because you don't have time for festering. Like you don't have time for things to build up, because like you don't want to blow up not only like at the worst time of the day at 4 a.m. when you're feeding or something, like at your most vulnerable, but like you don't want to blow up in front of a child. Like
totally
communicate at the source of that issue. Like I think we started doing that even better. We were like, look, let's talk about it right now. Like even if it's 3 a.m. What did you just do? Like let's talk about it right now. Let's just talk about the issue from the start. And then kiss the baby.
Spewing advice
then
right
kiss
now.
the baby and go to bed.
Kiss the baby and go to bed. Well, really the last big one that I have on my list here is that you fear judgment bringing your baby into like social situations, or just like, well, one, again, back to what I said before, you feel judgment about the decisions you make not being like socially acceptable or not being like whatever, but just in social situations you fear judgment, or just in general
in terms of being a mom.
I think I guess when I was writing it out, I was like, oh, bringing your baby, for some reason for me, and I don't know if anyone else resonates with me that has not had a child yet, I think about bringing my baby out and just like fearing judgment of like the choices that I'm making with my child. But
even I will, during COVID,
like
I'm not gonna, like the first time I feared judgment, like it was my birthday in September, and my husband and I like brought Kane out to a brewery for the first time. We were sitting outside. There was literally no one around us, but I was like, oh my god, we have a baby at a brewery during COVID. Like, is someone judging me right now? Like, and I'm drinking a beer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel
that's
like,
what I mean. Because I think you need to live I personally believe you need to live your life to be a better parent to your kids and do the things that fulfill you, while obviously moderating for the baby. But like, I worry about that.
That was like my first moment.
And it's funny because I saw that post or whatever of John with you, and I was like, awesome. But I didn't even think that you would feel that way.
Yeah, because I was like, is someone like here right now being like, oh, they brought a baby out during COVID, like to a restaurant? You know what I mean? Just
totally.
Like certain situations. I totally like. I've definitely had that. I've had it resonate with me with like fear, like just mom guilt too. Like fear of like people judging you with being a mom. Me and John are big. Like, we love to go out, we love to socialize. Like, I mean, I'm definitely like an extrovert.
A social butterfly.
I'm definitely a social butterfly. And especially when like I'm on maternity leave, like I do have a kind of gracious maternity leave in the US, which is, but
another conversation.
It's still not enough time. I want to see my friends. Like, I want to do stuff, and I want to like introduce my child to the people I love, to the people that are going to be in my child's life. And I'm not afraid of any judgment in that, because also like I want to expose him to things like from the get-go. Like, I did not want, and I do not want him to like be afraid of a car, like be afraid of his car seat. Like, be afraid of sound. Like, you know, your dog just barked near his head and he didn't even really flinch.
Yeah,
like,
he didn't.
I don't want him
He's a resilient baby.
I want him to be like out and about like, at a very young age, because like I don't want to lose friendships. I'm not gonna lose any friendships, but like I want to stay social. Like I want to stay like friendly and out and like go to do things
for
and,
your
like,
own mental health, to be a good mom.
Exactly. My husband and I like love to be around friends and like love to be around family, and I want like our child to be there. I want our kid to like experience places. Like when I bring Kane to a new spot, like his eyes are everywhere. Like kids see so much, and like he's so observant even at only like 3 months. And I don't want to be afraid of like others' opinion, because I want him to like see different things. Like I want him to be in new places. Like and if being at a brewery outside he sees like 10 dogs, like that's how he's gonna get used to dogs. It's exposure. Like your child is gonna get used to things and is going to adjust to certain situations and climates by exposure. Tidbit again, I'm not the medical field, like but drinking with breastfeeding, like, which I think has been such a taboo for such a long time. Like my mom kind of explained it to me, like when our mothers were having us, like it was such a no-no to be drinking and breastfeeding at the same time. And I mean it still is, like you don't want to be intoxicated while breastfeeding, mainly also because you don't want to like be intoxicated while handling your child. Right. But I have read, like I've been researching and been reading that like if your blood alcohol content is legal to drive, like you can then breastfeed. Interesting. So like if you're able to legally drive and you aren't intoxicated and like you don't have a heavy buzz whatsoever, then you can still breastfeed. If you can legally drive, you can breastfeed your child. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Like you can have a glass of wine and breastfeed your child. Yeah. You can have a beer and breastfeed your child. Like, you know, like I'm not gonna drink 3 glasses of wine and then go and breastfeed my child. And I think that like hard alcohol metabolizes differently, so I haven't been like drinking tequila and breastfeeding my child. But yeah, I enjoy a glass of wine like every night, because I love red wine. And like if drinking a glass of red wine, I'm like, oh, it feels so good. 1000%. And then I'm gonna breastfeed my child, and he's fine. And he's 1000%. Like, so I love that that's less taboo now, less scary now. So that's drinking a beer at a brewery on a beautiful Sunday with my baby, with your babe, it's fine. And you can't let other people's judgment affect you. Becoming a mom has definitely opened my eyes so much. Like, not that I've ever judged a mom before. Like I've never, like, I don't think we're that people to ever judge others outside of our situation. We have no idea what's going on with their life. But so many people do. So many people do. And I think that like that's definitely opened my eyes even more. Like I would never mom shame. I think the mom guilt, mom shame, like it's just so gross. Like so gross. And I will never do, like I will now never do that even more so. Like every baby situation is different. You just need to do what's best for you, what's best for your baby, what's best for you and your partner. Hands down. And your partner and you and your baby. Like your family. What's best for your family. 100%. And you never know what's best for someone else's family, so stop passing judgment. Yes, exactly. Moral of the story there. My very last assumption, the very last one, you love your babe more than anything. And then every single thing we talked about, the hard stuff, the easy stuff, the everything was just so worth it. So worth it. I'm gonna go get him.
For his moment.
Thank you. Is he not the most perfect? He's got his blue eyes like his mama. Yeah. Oh. Thumbnail.
Gotta go through all again.
Yep.
All for you.
And that's all you need to know is that you go through the craziest time of your life, but you would do it all again. It's so perfect. Yes. Kane, we love you. You're gonna be dealing with us through your whole life.
I know, I'm so sorry.
I'm not sorry.
You can do better.